After learning of the devastating implosion that killed the captain and his 4 passengers close to the Titanic catastrophe, investigators are now concentrating on how it happened and whether it might have been avoided. For days, the world was captivated in the 24-hour search for the missing Titan submersible. Before we tell you the whole story, make sure to subscribe to our channel first. Deep-sea robots will keep looking for information on the seafloor of the North Atlantic. The support ship for the Titan is being investigated by Canadian investigators. Other facets of the disaster are being investigated by American officials. Since 2021, OceanGate Expeditions' undersea exploration vessel, the Titan has made yearly journeys to document the Titanic's decomposition and the surrounding underwater ecology. Authorities and specialists are looking for solutions. When exactly did the implosion happen, and why? Will the bodies of the victims ever be located? What can we learn from the past to improve underwater research in the future? Here is what we currently know. According to the Coast Guard, the craft sank on Sunday morning, and its backup vessel lost communication with it an hour and a half later. The vessel was reported missing by the Canadian Joint Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is located about 435 miles (700 kilometers) south of St. John's, Newfoundland. The Canadian Coast Guard used to operate the icebreaker that OceanGate leased to launch the Titan. To get to the North Atlantic wreck site, where the Titan has done several dives, the ship has transported dozens of passengers, as well as the submersible vessel. After learning of the devastating implosion that killed the captain and his 4 passengers close to the Titanic catastrophe, investigators are now concentrating on how it happened and whether it might have been avoided. For days, the world was captivated in the 24-hour search for the missing Titan submersible. Deep-sea robots will keep looking for information on the seafloor of the North Atlantic. The support ship for the Titan is being investigated by Canadian investigators. Other facets of the disaster are being investigated by American officials. Since 2021, OceanGate Expeditions' undersea exploration vessel, the Titan has made yearly journeys to document the Titanic's decomposition and the surrounding underwater ecology. Authorities and specialists are looking for solutions. When exactly did the implosion happen, and why? Will the bodies of the victims ever be located? What can we learn from the past to improve underwater research in the future? According to the Coast Guard, the craft sank on Sunday morning, and its backup vessel lost communication with it an hour and a half later. The vessel was reported missing by the Canadian Joint Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is located about 435 miles (700 kilometers) south of St. John's, Newfoundland. The Canadian Coast Guard used to operate the icebreaker that OceanGate leased to launch the Titan. To get to the North Atlantic wreck site, where the Titan has done several dives, the ship has transported dozens of passengers, as well as the submersible vessel. Sometime after it sank on Sunday morning, the ship had a devastating implosion that killed all 5 people on board. It's unclear exactly when or where the Titan's fatal implosion took place, but a U.S. Navy acoustic system discovered an anomaly on Sunday that was most likely its occurrence. On Thursday, the Coast Guard reported the conclusion of the rescue operation and the discovery of submersible debris, bringing to a tragic finish the ongoing search for the missing vessel that had been ongoing around the clock. Authorities claim that the debris from the submersible was found by a deep-sea robot close to the Titanic shipwreck. The Titan submarine, owned by OceanGate, allegedly had a catastrophic implosion, a violent collapse inwards, instantaneously killing all 5 people on board, according to U.S. officials citing a debris field in the North Atlantic. Although this information was only made public on Thursday, the U.S. Navy claims it heard sounds consistent with an implosion shortly after the sub lost communication on Sunday, while descending to the Titanic wreck at a depth of 3,800 meters, 12,467 feet. After an extensive search expedition in the region off the Canadian province of Newfoundland, the loss of the deep-water craft was ultimately verified. OceanGate CEO and Titan pilot Stockton Rush, 2 famous Pakistani family members, Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman Dawood, British explorer Hamish Harding, and Titanic specialist Paul Henry Narjole are the fatalities of the Titan. With honors to the men and sympathy for their families, condolences from all across the world have flooded in. According to a statement from OceanGate, these men were true explorers who shared a distinct spirit of adventure and a deep passion for exploring and protecting the world's oceans. We lament their passing and the loss of the happiness they brought to everyone they knew. The Titan's descent into the North Atlantic sheds light on the hazy regulatory framework around deep-sea exploration. Risk-taking business people and the rich tourists who support their aspirations can ignore rules and traditions in this area of the high seas, at least right now. The Titan operated in international waters, beyond the purview of many U.S. or other national regulations. It was not classed by a marine industry organization that establishes standards on things like hull construction, nor was it registered as a U.S. vessel or with any international organizations that regulate safety. What was the implosion's cause? It's thought that Sunday's hull collapse of Titan was caused by extreme water pressure. The sub was designed to bear such strain, so specialists are now trying to pinpoint exactly what went wrong. This might be established through an analysis of the debris. When contact was lost, Titan was thought to be 3,500 meters below the surface of the ocean. The ship was so deep that the weight of the water on it, tens of thousands of tons, would have been comparable to the weight of the Eiffel Tower. In the event of a structural failure, the vessel would be compressed since the pressure outside would be significantly higher than that inside the hull. How does an implosion proceed? According to Dave Corley, a former U.S. nuclear submarine officer, a submarine's hull collapses at a rate of around 1,500 miles per hour per second. About 1 millisecond, or 1,000th of a second, is needed for total collapse. According to Mr. Corley, the human brain reacts instinctively to a stimuli in less than 25 milliseconds. The estimated average human response time, from perception to action, is 150 milliseconds. Hydrocarbon vapors are present in relatively high concentrations in the air within a sub. According to Mr. Corley, the air auto-ignites as the hull collapses, and an explosion occurs after the initial quick implosion. Human bodies instantly burn up and become ash and dust. How is a police inquiry likely to go? Any examination will undoubtedly concentrate on the Titan sub's carbon fiber middle portion. Deep vehicles like this typically have pressure vessels made of a sturdy metal like titanium that are fashioned like spheres to distribute the intense pressure evenly throughout the passenger cabin. However, the OceanGate sub took on a cylindrical shape to accommodate more passengers, with a carbon fiber tube sandwiched between two titanium end caps. Because carbon fiber is so strong, it is used to make racing vehicles and airplane wings. But did that intense pressure, which was more than 300 times greater than the pressure at sea level, have an effect on the material, exposing defects in the initial design or introducing instabilities that over time became worse? Any investigation would be interested in learning more about the non-destructive testing procedure. Regular, extremely detailed examinations are performed on aircraft to make sure that neither their layers nor their materials are developing fractures. Engineers might be able to pinpoint the location on the substructural integrity that was lost, starting the catastrophic implosion, by taking photos of the Titan wreckage discovered on the ocean floor and bringing it back to the surface for analysis in a forensic lab. For the U.S. Coast Guard alone, the cost of the search will probably reach millions of dollars. The U.S. Navy, the Canadian Coast Guard, and other government and business organizations also hurry to offer resources and expertise. There isn't another ocean search like it, especially with so many nations and even businesses involved. According to Virginia-based naval historian, commentator, and author Norman Polmar, the cost of operating the aircraft is high alone. The cost of using the turboprop P-3 Orion, jet-powered P-8 Poseidon subhunters, C-130 Hercules, and other aircraft in the search has been estimated by the Pentagon at tens of thousands of dollars each hour. Some organizations may ask for reimbursement. According to Stephen Cording, a U.S. attorney in Maine who focuses on maritime law, the U.S. Coast Guard is generally forbidden by federal law from demanding payment relative to any search or rescue service. This is it for today's video. Click that subscribe button for more content like this.